Hello, it's Bailey and welcome back to my channel. I'm here today with my April wrap up. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with everything I bought / acquired in the month of April and how much money I spent. Firstly, starting with things I acquired for free, aka were gifted to me. My stepmom, off of my birthday wish list, purchased this because she decided she wanted to read it and then read it and gave it to me, and that is I Know Your Secret by Ruth Held. She also gifted me The Lost Fairy Tales, the second book in the Pages & Co series, and then one of her book of the month books that she read and now gave to me was The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave. Now for used books I purchased for $6, I got Indelible by Karen Slaughter. I think this is the third book in the Blindsided series. So I'm hoping to get through that series soon. I accidentally started with the Will Trent series, and you're actually supposed to read the Grant County series first. So I'm hoping to circle back and start reading the Grant County series here. Also for $6, I got One Night on the Island by Josie Silver. And for $10, I got a very nice copy of House of Earth and Blood, Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas. So that wasn't that bad for purchases in the month of April. I was doing pretty good until then. But then, as you might have seen on my Instagram, or I do think I mentioned it in another video on my channel this month, I did go to a multi-author, independent author signing this month. So I did buy quite a few books for that. And in total on this stack of books, I spent $101.65. And I have 6 books here. So I did order some in advance because I didn't want to miss out on them to get signed in case the author sold out of them. But I did buy 2 while I was there, starting with Breaker by Harlow Ray. And again, these are all signed, that's why I purchased them. I met the authors, etc. And also while I was there, I purchased Lessons in Sin by Pam Godwin. And so from there, I'll go with what I bought in advance before the event. I'll continue with my Pam Godwin. I did get quite a few of hers. I got Sea of Ruin, also by Pam Godwin. And Dark Notes, also by Pam Godwin. Then I got Looked Apart by Jewel E. Ann. And Still Beating by Jennifer Hartman. So that's everything that I purchased or acquired in the month. In total, I spent $123.65. Now to get into what I actually read, I'm going to start with some stats. I read 12 books. I physically read with my eyeballs for 28 hours. It was 2,191 pages, which makes my average reading speed 78.2 pages an hour. And on top of that, I listened to 31 hours of audiobooks. I had 2 physical books, 6 ebooks, and 4 audiobooks. 5 of these books I owned previously. 1 I acquired during the month. I got 2 from Audible, 2 from my library, 1 from KU, and 1 was an ARC. I had 5 DNFs, 1 2-star, 4 3-stars, and 2 4-stars. That's not good. 8 were adult, 4 were YA, and I only had 8% authors of color this month, which is quite frankly unacceptable. 3 of the books I read were 2022 releases. 3 were either published in 2021 or 2020, so newer backlist. I had 5 published between 2010 and 2019, and 1 that was published before 2010. I read 5 romances, 3 mysteries, 1 fantasy, 1 nonfiction, and 1 contemporary. And so after that, let's get into what the books actually were. I'll start with my 5 DNFs. First of which being A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. I do have a bookmark in here. I was on page 145. So I made it, you know, a good little chunk of the way into this one. And I do just think that this was too slow for me, and there was too much history and it just wasn't keeping my attention, unfortunately. I also DNF'd Wicked Intentions by Elizabeth Hoyt, as well as The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. And then my last 2 DNFs, if you didn't see my 5-star picks, my TBR, for the month of April, I read Ryland's 5-star books, and I DNF'd both of the ones that I actually tried to read, which were I Am Margaret Moore by Hannah Capin and Call Me Daddy by Jade West. Now getting into my 1 2-star, I would call this more of like a 2.5, and it was The Holiday Swap by Maggie Knox. Overall, I had a decent time. I did listen to this on audiobook. I thought it was fun. You know, it kept my interest throughout, but I don't think this was exceptionally good or something I'll ever think about again, remember, or ever want to reread. So I'm moving on from this one. It was what it was. My 3-star books were all books from my 5-star picks, my TBR, from the month of March actually, but I actually ended up reading them all in early April, and they were 5 Feet Apart, Here's to Us, and Under the Banner of Heaven. So I'll go ahead and just link that 5-star picks, my TBR in the cards here. If you want to know my thoughts about those books, you can find out there, but they were all 3-star books for me, and those were books that Martine from Just Martine rated 5 stars. My other 3-star book was An Arc of My Wife is Missing by DJ Palmer, which that book I was very highly anticipating. I was very happy to receive an arc of it. DJ Palmer's book The New Husband was one of my favorite books of 2021. So like I said, I was just really excited for this, and it was an okay thriller, but I don't think it stood up to The New Husband, but I'll definitely be keeping an eye out for their releases going forward. Then into my 2 4-star books, first of which was the Shelf This Book Club pick for the month of April, which was picked by Sarah from Sarah's Shelves, and she picked If Only I Could Tell You by Hannah Beckerman. And I really had no idea what this was going into it. All I knew was it was going to be kind of like a family drama, which it was, but it has a lot to do with like a sister relationship and their relationship with their mother, and I really ended up enjoying it. I think Sarah and I both rated it 4 stars, but I saw ratings all over the place from like 5-star to 1-star. So I would say overall, if you cannot get behind a miscommunication situation, not to read this, but if you like the drama and figuring out like something that happened in this family's past and what's going on, I had a pretty good time reading it, so I would recommend this one. And then my favorite book of the month, even though it was probably only, I would probably consider this a 4.5 star, but I had no 5 stars this month. So my favorite book of the month was Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson. And the only reason I really picked this up is, one, I have loved Tiffany D. Jackson in the past, but usually a lot of my reading is picked based on prompts or, you know, readathons I'm participating in, etc. But I picked this one up solely because I'm trying to get through my books I owned before 2022, so I need to start just going through some of those. So this was one I decided to pick up, and I ended up giving it 4.5 stars. It is essentially a story about grooming, and our main character is getting into like the music industry, and this older man definitely takes advantage of her, and she gets kind of trapped with him, and her career depends on him. And it's just that situation of like how her parents as a teenager let her get into, I shouldn't say let her, but let her get into this situation, and how the whole family as a whole kind of dealt with what Enchanted was choosing for herself, and then kind of getting herself out of the situation once she was in it. And I thought it was good. I really like Tiffany D. Jackson's writing style, so I would definitely recommend this one as well. My favorite by Tiffany D. Jackson is probably still Monday's Not Coming. So that's it. That is my wrap up for the month of April. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today, and I will see you again very soon. Bye.